Well, welcome to the Influencers Podcast, friends and family all around the world. 200 countries today coming in on the Influencers Podcast, and it's Friday, so let's have some fun. I've got a friend, Shawn Flynn, coming to see you today from San Francisco, California. He's the principal of Global Capital Markets, among many things. Uh, I would say this guy is steeped in the business world and how to, get started. He's part of the Mentors Club, the Bay Angels, the Association for Corporate Growth, Silicon Valley Podcast, mergers and acquisitions expert. I mean, he's done it. He's been there, and I want you to meet Shawn Flynn. Welcome.
Bill, thank you for having me on your show. This is an honor.
Yeah, you've done a lot, and I think the audience is going to gain a lot of gems. I always try to pull out the best gems from my guests to meet the needs of our audience. They're all entrepreneurs, Shawn. So if you think something's going to be good for them, lay it on them. And you're an influencer already, and you have podcasts. So I want you to really talk about what do you think is the most important thing people should know about you? And the way we do that is just let us hear your origin story. How did you get started?
Started in the podcast. That was just me wanting to package all the conversations I was having on a repeated basis into a library, so I could say, hey, check out this interview here, check out this interview there. So for a number of years, I was helping companies from Silicon Valley set up operations in tech parks in China and vice versa. So you can imagine the repeated conversations over and over again. But even before that, I wanted to travel the world. I lived overseas for about 8 years, started a couple businesses. One did okay, exited that, came back to the US, got involved in the startup ecosystem. That led me to, you mentioned before, an angel group. I was volunteered at first, then the investment director. In the past, I was the president of it as well. But through that, pivoted to helping companies from overseas, China, set up operations in Silicon Valley, vice versa. And that led into the investment banking, where I've been at for a number of years now. So that's been my professional career path over the last 18 years, as crazy as that sounds.
Only 18, Shawn? You've done a lot in 18 years.
Thank you. I think I should have done more, to be honest. Especially when you look at yourself, you never compare yourself to others, or you'll feel bad. But there's a lot of people that I've had on my podcast, and people that have been on your podcast. I was looking before the show that have just done incredible things in a short amount of time.
I know if you do compare yourself to others, you sometimes don't feel like you measure up, and you got the imposter syndrome right there. But I've done this thing for 46 years, 47 years of dentistry, and I always had two or three interests at once. Like you've done a lot of things at once. It's not like you can do one thing. I like to do 5 things at once, and
Yep.
so I never get bored. I never feel like I've run my course, and I know that's how you are too. What do you find is your favorite thing you're doing right now?
Actually, yes, I'm doing many things at once, but they all intertwined. The podcast leads to potential people I can work with the investment banking. And then some people might be a little bit too early for the investment banking that I can introduce to the angel group. And then it's just cycle of one leads to the other, it leads to the other, but there's so much synergy among them. And to be honest, I don't really have a favorite thing. For me, it's more, I really like connecting with people, and everyone I get to connect with people, have great conversations, learn from them, have interactions. And it's really exciting because with each of those, they're at different stages in their life and their career. So I feel it's a really good balance. I'm not just heavily niched down into this one small little group of people, of owners of mid-market companies that are in this sector. I get to have conversations with people that have had exits, that have taken companies public, that are just now starting a company, that had an idea, that are pivoting, and it's exciting. So I like everything I'm doing, to be honest. I just wish I had more time to do everything.
Yeah, I totally understand where you're going. As I started out in dentistry, I was kind of seeing the need to become an expert in every area. And in dentistry, we have basically 10 areas. So I started doing my training, and it took decades. but I got to be a decathlon dentist where I could do 10 different specialties. And you're like that too. You could take a business and you can run the whole gamut of what they need, at least for consulting wise. You can put them in the proper perspective and give them a path to success. So I really understand where you are in business compared to where I was in dentistry. And what I'm trying to do now is just shorten the learning cycle for my audience so that they can take maybe the wisdom of somebody like you, Shawn, and apply it to their business.
Yeah. I mean, I do that for me though as well. I try to find those mentors, those advisors, and just pick their brain and get the little nuggets here and there and ask them, okay, from your experience in my situation, where should I be going? What roadblocks are ahead that I'm not seeing? What milestones should I be targeting, and breaking it down? So it's all about finding that network in your community to help you get to where you're going, and also to kind of kick you when you're off track and put you back on. And no, that's another thing that I love about the conversations I get to have all day long is even the podcast. I might be interviewing someone, but really I'm interviewing them, asking questions I want to get the answers to.
There you go.
And benefits everyone.
Most of the people that I talk to are always looking at our success, and they probably do that to you. They think you never fail because you're so successful now. Let's let the audience know how real we are. You share your biggest failure.
I have a, I'd say every year I probably have a pretty big failure, to be honest. I can't even tell you the biggest failure I've had. Like I said before, when I exited a company, great. I had two big failures before that exit, and then I had a bunch of failures that I don't even mention. So, let's see. Some of the biggest failures, I mean, like I said, the two companies that failed before the one that succeeded. But if I hadn't had those failures, I wouldn't have had the success. I learned so much from them. If they were in China, I tried doing the first one, the business on my own. Can't do that. In China, you need a business partner. The second one, the business partner and me, maybe not the most business savvy person, but it was an unfortunate situation where a huge competitor came in and just destroyed us. But the third one, I learned from those first two. I had the right business partner. We were in the right market. We had the right plan, and we were able to scale. So those failures were the only reason that one success happened. And I've noticed that with everything I've done from, I mentioned before, helping companies set up in China. There were failures along that path. There were huge failures with companies. And some of it was the person in China didn't do what they were supposed to do, or there was lack of communication or miscommunication between the parties, or regulations changed, or even with investment banking, there's times where it's something you'll go, okay, was something missed there? Is this deal salvageable? What's happening here? So the failures, I learned the most from those. Also, they keep my guard up, I want to say, so that the successes can happen. And so I don't really even look at them as such failures, as they were good learning experiences. I took the wisdom, or I gained wisdom from them. I took that knowledge and I have it today, and that it won't happen. And it allows me to take on bigger problems in the future. And when you can take on bigger problems, the bigger rewards are there.
I'll share with you the thing that I found along the same lines. It took two failures to end up with a win. I sold my first practice owner financed, and I had to take it back. I sold my second practice, but I sold it for a discount just so I could get out of it. But I got 100% of what I asked for. Third time I sold my practice, and my last time I sold it for a large profit, but I took a significant part of it in stock, and the company was on a record pace over the next 10 years. And so I, quadrupled my sales price just by holding on to the stock. for 10 years.
You gotta love that second bite of the apple. Congrats.
It was a fine bailing out of a great situation anyway. So yeah, I learned from the first two how to sell a practice, and you do learn from those mistakes. Uh, what motivates you internally to keep going and doing as you're only 18 years into this and you got a big future ahead of you?
I just noticed that going back, as you take on bigger challenges, there's bigger rewards and there's so much opportunity ahead. So for example, in the last 6 months, I've gotten to fly to Washington DC to moderate a panel there for the um, science and technology department of Homeland Security. I got flown as part of a delegation to Cote d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast, to work for a week there to come up with ideas for technology transfer between Silicon Valley and the country. I've got the list goes on and on where I've noticed these bigger challenges have so much bigger reward, and the outcomes they just grow your life in the fact that you have these experiences that you never thought were even possible. So what drives me is just I want to keep growing, I want to keep learning, and I want to keep having these unique, amazing experiences, and they're there. They really are there. People, I mean, you have so much tailwind when you get some momentum, and people I found they want to help you. They really want you to succeed. Yeah, there's those few people that what is that the lobster one where they pull you back down, or the dandelion where you can't grow. There's those people, but for the most part, if you've built out your community, if you've been a giver, the ones around you want to give back and they want to help you. They want to see you succeed. So what motivates me, I just want to live life, I guess, to its fullest.
I kind of agree with that. I set up my life to where I could take continuing education courses in different places, and I managed to figure out that international travel and CE courses go together very well. So you can combine your family vacation, your travel, and you feel like you're doing well, even though you're in dentistry. We're locked with golden handcuffs to the chair to produce, and it's like, how do you ever get away? Well, you have to educate yourself, and by education, you can double your capabilities. So that really does make a difference. Those who stay home and complain don't do well at all compared to those who get out and learn more. Tell me about your three success secrets. You kind of started alluding to some of them. What else?
I'd say biggest success secrets, one, just as you mentioned, always keep learning, always keep asking questions. I've found the most successful people are the ones that ask the best questions. I've been in rooms with angel investors that were all CEOs. I've on my podcast, billionaires. They're asking questions, and they're asking questions you didn't even think of. You're like, where did that question come from? And then where you see where that answer lies, you're like, wow, that question was so meaningful. That was a game changer right there, just asking that. So work on asking questions, always ask questions. Next, have mentors, advisors in your life that are where you want to go. Ones that are way past where you want to go, and ones that are just a few steps in front of you. You need that balance. The ones that are way down the line, maybe they don't see the steps you need to take immediately, and the ones that are just a few steps ahead don't see that or haven't experienced that big picture way down. So get mentors and advisors that are a little bit ahead and far ahead. And then the third one is, well, can I do four? Is that okay? Third
Yeah.
one, third one, I would say try to look at all situations from different points of view. Your eyes, the person across from you, and a third party way in the sky. And just look at that situation, because in many times, if you just look from your eyes, you're not getting the whole picture. If you see it from the other person's point of view, you're getting more perspective. And if you see it from a perspective, then it's like, okay, what is this picture? What are we really talking about here? And having that point of view in conversations and negotiations, the outcomes are incredible. And then the fourth one is look at things in chunks and chunk back down to things that you can handle. there's stuff that you'll get approached or do that you'll go, this is just way overwhelming. I can't do it. But then if you work backwards and break it into little components, you go, wow, this is actually manageable. Someone else has done this in the past and they got there. If I take it in little steps, I'll get there too. So I would say those four things have really helped me in my career and both professional and personal life.
Shawn, that mirrors exactly what I've done and what I believe. Matter of fact, you made me think of my mentor when you said, if it's been done, it's probably possible, was his quote. And he was like a reference to me. If I saw him do it, I knew I could do it. When I got out of school, there was this book that had been famous for a couple of years called The $100,000 Practice. And that was kind of like a benchmark for success in the 60s and early 70s, that a dentist could produce 100,000. He was very successful in a year because of the scale of things back then. Well, my mentor that I got in the 70s was teaching the $1 million roundtable, those who produced $1 million. I couldn't even fathom that when I first heard it. It was like, nobody could do that, because everybody was thinking in their mindset, 100,000 is the cream of the top for success. But that was an old standard in the 60s. 70s, it was a new model. And so I set my goal to be invited to speak at the $1 million roundtable. You had to be a producer of that to get into the speaker position, right? And it took me 1 year to go from where I made the decision to get there. And when I got there and I gave a presentation, I got the positive feedback from another $1 million roundtable member who said, that was world-class presentation. And that fed me, as far as ego and satisfaction wise, at least a decade. I didn't have to do any more. I had made it in his eyes. So when you reach that point where you're successful and other people acknowledge it, you don't need more. So you've been there. You've seen success from a lot of angles. What do you think it takes to be successful these days? And this is 2020 something, 23 now. It's a different game. What's success now?
Oh gosh. I mean, success is in the eyes of the beholder. Right? Some people just want to have a good family. Some people want to be that 1% earner. Some people want to run that marathon, just finish the marathon. For me, I would say success is as long as I've improved from the year before. And I'm one of those people that, New Year's, write down all my goals to try to accomplish. Number of clients, sales, number of times at the gym, number this and that. I have my Excel sheets. That's who I am. It's just who I've always been. Engineer, mechanical engineer, undergrad. Yep.
Management by statistics.
And for me, hitting those goals, I feel successful because I know I've grown as a person, from the year before. So that's for me success. But for everyone else, success is don't compare yourself to the person next to you. I'd compare yourself to who you were a little bit before.
My previous interview a few weeks back about stoicism, stoic guy, if you go back, you hear him. He says his whole thing is not about any financial amount. It's about being happy. So if you are happy, then you're successful, whatever makes you happy. I like that definition because you're never happy with a certain dollar figure. I found that out. I reached each goal many times. I passed it and I go, I'm not even happier than I was last week. But
I should have listened to that episode before this one. Could have had a better canned answer there.
Well, it's just fun to hear everybody's take on it because it is different for everybody. But this generation certainly doesn't equate money to success. Freedom and time off and ability to control your life is more important to this generation, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I'm a boomer, and boomers were pretty much driven What generation were you growing up in?
So I'm right on the cusp, the millennials. So right there, right on the border. So
Gotcha. So tell me why somebody should get involved and hire you or buy from you. What's your reason?
as a mid-market investment banker, a lot of experience. Um, I like to, I'm really hands-on, really work with the client before, preparing, during, after. There's a lot of experience that comes with the team I'm on. I've been around 30 years, 5 offices, 15 principals. There's a lot there. So the resources, experience, you got someone with the podcast and a good personality you'd be working with, 6 to 9 months on these deals. They're tough deals, but oh, overall, there's a lot there. But the best way would be to contact me, get to know me, and then make the decision for yourself.
What's your ideal client?
Ideal client. So we focus on transactions between 10 and 250 million. So the ideal client for me is someone that, in the next 1 to 2 years wants to have one of these exit events, wants to raise this amount of capital, wants to acquire a company in this size. That's my ideal client. The ones that, okay, we're going in this direction. We listen, we're open-minded. How do we prepare? What are the steps needed to take? What do we need to know? And that are open to that conversation, that are listened, and that are able to understand everything that takes place between that moment and the close and beyond.
Do you have a particular way to locate these particular clients, the ideal one?
Oh, easy. Go on Dr. Bill Williams' podcast. That's the easiest way. I do a lot of speaking
All
gigs.
my $10 million people will be calling.
Thank you. And we have done dentistry deals in the past. So, we've done roll-ups. We've done quite a number. Check out the website for information on our tombstones. But I do a lot of speaking gigs. My podcast, actually, you'd be surprised the number of clients I get. Actually, you understand. You get your message out there, your voice. People over time know, like, and trust you. They want to work with you. You've given them all this information, content, and that there's reciprocity. They want to work with you. They want to work with someone. They go, okay, this person, I've connected with them over time. Let's work with them versus a complete stranger, someone else out there that we've never connected with. So
yeah, it's interesting that you brought that up because last 2 podcasts ago, the guy wanted to talk to me after the podcast was over, and the question he asked me, it was about a merger acquisition situation that he was in, and he wanted to have me be part of the deal to find the client. He had the seller, he wanted the buyer. So he said, "It's a dental practice. They're big. Can you help?" I go, "Yeah." So you never know where things will come from. Just talking.
Yep.
How do you crush your competition?
Service, providing the best service. I don't think there's much else. The network that we have here, especially the Silicon Valley team, I'd say is second to none. When we work with someone, our Rolodex is open, and the relationships we've built over the years and that it's incredible. And the resources with the number of offices, number of principals, for the deal sizes we work on. There's 6 languages spoken amongst the principals. So that international global reach that we have is pretty impressive. I lived in Costa Rica 2 years, lived in China 5 years. So, speak Mandarin, speak Spanish. It's some great skill sets. And, having a mechanical engineer background and doing everything else I've done, the mindset's a little bit different than some of the other people out there.
I understand that. The well-defined product and service, what would you say you have to offer?
Well, I have my little 30-second pitch. You go through life, you meet that special someone, you come together. That's a merger. All right. Now that you're married, equals are together. You're in the park, you're walking, you go, oh my gosh, there's this puppy. I want to bring it into my family. You acquire it. That's an acquisition. That puppy needs to go to the vet. It needs shots. It needs food. It needs growth capital. all those transactions in life. That's what me and my team are able to help you with your business. 30 years experiences, 5 offices, 15 principals. We're there to help all these transactions for your business have happy endings, just like you and your family.
That elevator speech took me to the 33rd floor. It was great.
Thank you.
But I've got 151 floors in my office. So we got to go some more.
I got to turn it up to 11. Okay.
My home office is in the 151st floor of the Burj Khalifa.
I can only imagine that view. Jeez.
That's a long way. Tallest office in the entire world.
Wow.
Yeah, got to see it. Tell me about any online platforms that you rely on.
LinkedIn. I rely on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn more than any other platform. I mean, I don't want to put a time to it, but I'm on it all day long.
Great. That's where I found you, by the way, Shawn. You showed up in LinkedIn to find me, vice versa. They're high value. That's the main one, so we don't have to talk about that. Do you have any specific 5-star client experience secret?
That's a tough one. I mean, most of our deals, because of confidentiality, we can't talk about it. But I mean, I could definitely say that past clients have made a lot of referrals. In fact, of all the deals I'm working on right now have come from referrals. So that speaks for itself.
It does. It shows them to be brand ambassadors, and they don't even probably pay you. They probably just do it out of gratitude.
Yep. Because the relationship was built over time. They saw the work, and now they're comfortable with sharing it with the people they've been friends with for however number of years. And honestly, when I get a warm introduction from someone I've worked with in the past, that's the greatest compliment.
When I hear what you tell me, it made me think back to a street in Dunwoody, and that street had one person on it that was my patient, and I fixed his entire mouth up, and it was wonderful. He loved it. And before long, 2 or 3 more of his neighbors came in for the same thing. They wanted to look just like Fred. So, fixing Fred up once gave me 2 or 3 big cases. And, in dentistry, a big case is $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. So it was worthwhile to have that referral basis. People are grateful when you do a good job for them. So, Shawn, tell me what you're grateful for today yourself.
Honestly, right now, grateful for my health, my wife. She's amazing. Hope maybe she walks by right now and hears this, but but
2 points.
Hopefully 3. But no, I'm just really grateful about all the opportunities that I have, and just, I mean, I can't complain. I'm just so blessed being born in this country, having the friends, being the opportunities I've had. It's just been amazing.
Sure. Sounds good. How do you start every day out there in San Francisco?
Wake up, try to within 15 minutes of waking up, be outside in the sun, go on a short jog. I'm a big fan of the Huberman's podcast, where he has his morning routine. I've tried copying it, where it's outside for sun first 15 minutes, a little workout, no caffeine for the first 90 minutes when you wake up. I mean, his routine, I found that if I can follow it the whole day, I feel pretty energized. So my goal, wake up, get outside, get some sun, move around a little bit.
You get up after the sun's up?
Actually,
No.
I work a lot of East Coast time, so my wake up is normally 6 o'clock, sometimes 5:30. But the sun's up early in most of the year in the West Coast.
Yeah. Well, I'm learning. I'm getting better. I mean, as a dentist, I always got up at a certain point and just had breakfast, went to work. Now that I'm retired, I get up a lot earlier. I go out and walk for an hour, get about 3 miles in. have a buddy that I walk with, and we talk and just have a good time talking about politics or sports. He's into cricket, and I'm into football. It doesn't mix very well. He's from Pakistan. We have very little in common. We're so different, but we are entrepreneurs, and because of that, we get along very well. So we are accountability partners on our exercise walking every day. Get out and do it, and then come back and work, whatever you feel like work is.
That's a great start.
Yeah. If I hadn't had a partner, an accountability partner, I don't think I would get myself out of bed at 5 o'clock as a retiree. No, I didn't think I would do it. What's your goal? You're such a young fellow to have accomplished a lot. In my age, I'm in dog years. I'm a lot older than you. What do you want to achieve in this life?
I have a lot of milestone goals that I want to hit, financial, impact. But I think overall, I think the big goal is just at the end of the day, just to have everyone that has known me to say, you know what, my life was better because I knew Shawn. I think that's the ultimate goal I have. But, up until that point, there are some financial, some relations, some family. But yeah, I just want to leave a positive impact. I think that's my ultimate goal.
Lift humanity.
Hope so. I mean, at least the people around me that know me.
Float their boat a little higher.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good goal. If you can make one person's life better, that's a success.
Exactly. Yeah.
Looking back at your life when you were 20 years old, knowing what you know now, what would you tell that young self to do?
I mean, invest in Bitcoin, invest in Apple, invest in...
I didn't say that you would know the future. That's not right.
Oh, okay. Well, then if that's the case, just take more risk. Take bigger risk earlier on. Even those problems that in the past I thought were huge problems, after you pass them, you're like, you know what? That helped me grow. So just take on any challenge anyone puts in front of you early on, and don't skirt around it saying, I don't think I can do this. I'm going to push this off. No, just go for it, because I can only imagine how much further along I'd be in life and career if I'd accepted every challenge that was placed in front of me and looked for more difficult challenges. So that would have been it.
Well, that's one opinion. I like it. My financial advisor gave me the opposite.
Oh.
He said, if you got it made, why risk it? Now,
Okay.
I was a young dentist and I was successful early compared to some. And so I went to my financial advisor for the first time for the first meeting, and I told him what we had saved up and how we were doing. And he said, I've never seen anybody that could do that before. So then he told my wife, he told me to listen to my wife and let her take care of the money. And he said, if you got it made, don't risk it. And so that was kind of how we did it for the next 15 years. Then I started getting full of myself and started risking it. And I threw away quite a bit as a midlife dentist. I was kind of bored with the routine, and I wanted to try some new things. So I went to Russia and tried to build houses. I went to Kazakhstan, tried to drill oil. I went to Indonesia and tried to do some investment things there. So there are things that, you don't have any expertise in, you shouldn't do. But I figure out how I could do all of them and lose.
Well, you've had some great experiences, I'm guessing, from all that.
I did. Yeah. I mean, if you manage to practice dentistry full time and still do that, you're having fun.
Yeah.
I did. And I still do. So my whole thing is, what can I do that can get me in trouble faster? Not bad trouble, just taking risk and doing fun things.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun ride. I've enjoyed it. Taught a lot of people a lot of things. Speaking of teaching, who's your living mentor, and what did they have an impact on you about right now?
I'm currently I'd say my boss at Global Capital, the founder, one of the founders. He's been at it his 30 something years. I get on a call with him. He's got
Still
some
a young
wisdom.
guy. Still a young guy.
It's all relative. All
Yeah.
relative with the age there, but it's just great having him and the team that's had all this experience in these deals, and they'll point to stuff going, "Hey, Shawn, back in 1992, something similar, or 98, or 2005," or just being able to point to all these deals. And it's just incredible, the information library that the team has, and especially the Mark, one of the founders. So yeah.
Have him call me up, and I'll tell him about 1975. I'll tell him about building a $1 million building with an 18% interest rate at Jimmy Carter's finest hour.
That's incredible. Jeez.
18% interest on money building a huge building when, I was in 1,200 square feet and I built an 8,500 square foot dental building. I mean, who does that?
How'd that feel when you refinanced it?
As the rates came down, it felt much better.
Yeah.
That's why my advisor said, if you got it made, why risk it? Because my wife had taken charge and dropped down the payments, and we were doing pretty good by then. Who would have known, we would come out of Jimmy Carter's inflationary period, but we did. The Reaganomics worked. What about being impactful? Why is that important to you?
I'm not sure if being impactful is that important, but I just try to work hard, try to get things done, and because of that, it impacts people. So I think it's more the result than the goal.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a particular thing you want to be remembered for, stamped on your biography or even your gravestone?
And going back to what I said earlier, just, knowing him made my life a little bit better. That's it. I think that'd be a good thing to be remembered by.
There you go. Anything we can do to support you? How do we find out about you other than that QR code that sits there waiting for people to take a picture of it and lock in your URLs? I know they can do it. They should do it right now.
Check out the QR code. It goes to my LinkedIn. Connect with me. If you're a lower mid-market business, if you're looking to do a transaction next year or two, that this is the right time to start the conversation. If you've gotten that acquisition offer, great. We'll work with you. We'll be your side of the table in the negotiations. We'll get you through. It's a pretty bumpy ride, and having someone on their side to guide you, pretty valuable. So yeah, just contact me on LinkedIn.
Everybody who's in the 10 to 20 million,
10 to 250 million. We've
Up
done
to
bigger
250.
we've done bigger transactions in the past, but 10 to 250s are our sweet spot.
Okay. You're all listening in. You know where to go. What would you say about being on the Influencer podcast today, Shawn?
Bill, I liked hearing your stories. I mean, I want to hear about the Kazakhstan oil drilling, the Russia. You seem like the most interesting man. So it's been a great honor. I've really enjoyed it. And honestly, Bill, I'm looking forward to the follow-up call where I get to learn more about you and everything that you've accomplished and you're working on, other than I've already listened to on some of the past episodes I checked out.
Yeah, I'll come on your podcast and tell you about the Wildcat driller from Indiana that I took with me to Kazakhstan. I was the money guy. He was the driller, and it was a thriller. I always thought I knew how to drill until I found that guy.
Oh, God.
What would you say in your final word? I'm going to let you have the platform, and then I'll come back and we'll talk for just a second before we close the show. Go ahead.
I would say that life isn't a straight path. You guys look at mine. Living overseas for about 8 years, coming back, working with an angel group, helping companies back and forth overseas, and now an investment banker. And I've noticed that so many people think, okay, I do this one thing, I'm set, and this is my path forward. But reality, you never know what tomorrow brings. I've been very blessed, been very honored to have so many opportunities, and I appreciate all of them. And for people out there, if you are looking for an investment banker to help you with your transaction, contact me. There's my QR code. They'll go to my LinkedIn. And more than anything, thank you for taking the time to watch this interview and rewatch it, reach out to me, and have a good day. So thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bill, for this opportunity, and wish everyone the best.
All right. Thank you, Shawn, for being there. And you're an expert podcaster, I know, because you pointed the right way to your QR code, not like this, but like this. And I can tell you're a laid back guy. You're a West Coastie. You're not hyper, and I think that probably adds to the reason people find you very comfortable to work with. So kudos to you for developing such a bedside manner, or as we call it, dentistry, chairside manner. I want to share with our audience how they can reach me to be on the Influencer Podcast. Go to my digital business card. It's the ovu.me/onpassive as far as the card, and it'll have two things on it that you need to look for. One is all the Influencer Podcasts that we've done recently at drbillwilliams.tv. That's my website. And then finally, the AI technology information I want to share with you, probably the thing that will change your life more than anything, because I'm not doing teeth anymore. I'm doing AI technology, and I have the world's best video conferencing platform, OConnect. I want you to know about it. Give you a free trial if you want to try it out. Just go to otrim.co/OConnectBest. And we have marketing help for people who want to market with OTracker. We have a lot of things that are really good for people. And we're interested in giving away a lot of free stuff. So OBless is going to be our entry to give away a crowdfunding platform where people can raise money for their startups. So if you've got a startup, an innovation project, a nonprofit, something that's charitable, even a church, or something that's dear to your heart, this is what you might want to look at. It's our free product. We're giving it back to the world. And the thing about it is we don't charge anybody to raise the funds. You raise the money through this project management system, and it's all yours. So that's kind of what we're doing. And we're glad to talk to anybody out there about IT technology and what we can do to help you. Shawn, thanks for being part of our Influencer Podcast today. And look forward to many more interesting conversations with you, my friend.
It's been an honor. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. See you guys next Influencer Podcast. Stay tuned. It's Dr. Bill Williams saying goodbye from Atlanta, Georgia.